This is Buona.org Radio for December 9th, 2008. We're a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. We're also a member of the Blueberry Network at BLUBRRY.com. This is episode 138 of Buona.org Radio. Enjoy the show.
Stand by for Buona.org Radio. In 3, 2, 1. Cue the announcer.
You found Buona.org Radio, your one source for tech news and reviews. Now, almost live from sunny Florida, here's your host, Buona McCall.
Hey, greetings, folks, and welcome to episode 138 of Buona.org Radio. Got a great show lined up for you. Unfortunately, I don't feel all that great. I think the term is hot garbage. No, not regular cold garbage that kind of stinks, when you lift the garbage can and the smell lingers out. No, that's that hot, sweaty garbage that perforates through the walls of the garbage can underground and in the water supply, and that's how I feel right now. Like hot garbage. I've been fighting this bug, been taking all kinds of pills and medicines and home remedies, and I'm doing decent. It could be a lot worse, but I am definitely on the ropes right now trying to fight this thing off. So I am definitely going to do my best to try not to cough all in your face, and I got some lemon water here, to help my voice as usual. Got a great show lined up. I had an exciting weekend. I'm going to talk about that in the show notes. And I got about 21 bookmarks, including one that's user submitted that I've already lost, but I'll get it back again. And we're going to have a great time. So stay tuned. And if you are looking for a domain name, why don't you go over to GoDaddy.com, where you can save 10% on any order by using the promo code BRAY1. That's BRAY1 when you check out. And when you get that domain name, why don't you send me an email at buona@buona.org, and I'll put the information about the website on the air so you can get some more hits. So if you get, I just bought The Dark Knight at BestBuy.com, I'll mention that. We'll be talking about The Dark Knight a little bit in today's show. We're going to have a little fun with it. All right, folks, so stay tuned for episode 138 of Buona.org Radio.
It's time for Buona.org Radio's tech news for this week.
Just a little bit out of sync there, but we got a great show for you. First story has to do with a little bit with the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. A little bit of video gaming news for you. This story comes from joystick.com, and they're talking about how Sony isn't planning any kind of Netflix support for the PlayStation 3. If you are not familiar with Netflix kind of took the world by storm. I don't know, I want to say 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. It's been a while now. But they took the world by storm because they completely changed the way we rent movies. You remember when you guys were growing up, some of you may be too young, but you had to go to like a Blockbuster or a Hollywood Video or, all these little hole-in-the-wall movie rental shops. If you ever saw the movie Clerks, you probably know about movie rentals and stuff like that. But Netflix turned that all around in that they said, okay, we're going to eliminate late fees, and we're going to allow you to do everything from home. You go to our website, you pick what movies you want, and we'll send them to you. You can keep 3 out at a time, but you can return them anytime you want. Just pay us this monthly fee. Everybody's jumping on it, and they've since evolved into online content delivery. So the Xbox 360 recently added this to their console, and these Xbox 360 users are enjoying movies streamed from Netflix. Now, Sony has PlayStation 3, and they have their own movie service where you can buy movies. You can also rent movies. And that's kind of the stance they're taking. They're saying that, well, we think that our offering is enough. We don't think we should be changing that right now, and we're going to be, we're going to stay focused. But, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, I read today that Sony's laying off 8,000 full-time workers and also 8,000 part-time workers. And they're closing a bunch of factories. So times are getting a little bit hard. They got to stay focused on what they're going to do, and they might even start cutting things. So, Sony's got to stay focused to stay in the game. It's definitely a big-time competitive console market out there right now. And I'm a proud owner of the PlayStation 3. It's a great console. But the Xbox 360 definitely has the ante on online video delivery. But, we do have a web browser on the PlayStation 3, and I know a lot of PlayStation owners use Hulu.com to get their content. So it's kind of a mixture, but we'll see how the race pans out. Speaking of Microsoft, I was talking about the Xbox 360. Microsoft kind of surprised a lot of people today by delivering on something that was promised a few weeks ago, in that they are now offering an open source, this is what their website says, an open source, standards compliant, highly extensible content management platform. That just sounds like a bunch of jargon, right? If you got a blog, then you probably got some form of a content management platform. These include things like Blogger, TypePad, Movable Type, WordPress, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So if you got some kind of a blog or website set up where you host it or somebody else is hosting it, they're using some kind of content management system. Now, Microsoft is coming out with this platform, and they claim that it supports all the open standards, it's extensible, it supports all the cool features that we know and love. Let me list some of them. They support pingbacks, trackbacks, anonymous or authenticated commenting with optional moderation, Gravatar support, RSS feeds at any page level, support for the Meta Weblog API, which includes Windows Live Writer support, a web admin panel, support for open search format, and I don't see OpenID on here, but I assume they're going to support OpenID as well. So it kind of looks like the way they've positioned this and the way they're talking about it, it kind of sounds like Drupal. You guys ever heard of Drupal? Drupal.org. It's an open source CMS. It supports a lot of these things. It's extensible. It can be a blog or it can be a full-blown content management system. So I don't know if Microsoft's competing with that movement, or are they aiming at WordPress, or they're aiming at Movable Type, or the corporate installations of WordPress and Movable Type, TypePad and things like that, the multi-user installations of WordPress. We don't know. But this came out today. It's definitely going to be another player in the field of blogging and blogging platforms. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be taking a look, because Windows Live Writer has a lot of fans. And, if this thing really makes it kick and, brings out the bells and whistles of Windows Live Writer, then definitely it's going to be an alternative for WordPress users and Movable Type users and TypePad users today. So take a look at it. The name of it is called, I didn't even say the name. I didn't even say the name. The name is called Oxite. Oxite. And they got a picture of a demon mushroom in an airplane. I kid you not. It looks like, you ever play Mario Brothers? You see that the mushroom guys running around. They kind of look happy. This guy, he has like fangs. It's a demon mushroom in an airplane. So I don't know what that has to do with the CMS. I don't know what that has to do with blogging, but the demon mushroom says use Oxite. So the name of the website is visitmix.com/lab/Oxite. You can check out my delicious links to get to the exact link for this show, which is episode 138. Moving on to some different news, a little bit about the iPhone, and this has to do with something I talked about on Buona.tv a few weeks ago. I told you about an application called Cycorder, which required a jailbreak or a hack on your iPhone, which you can record video on the iPhone. Now, the iPhone does not support video out of the box. If you buy an iPhone today, bring it home, activate it, play with it, you can't record video. Now, if you hack it, then you can use this application called Cycorder. Today, the unofficial Apple weblog, brought to my attention a music video shot entirely on the iPhone. This guy wrote and produced this very catchy song. It's about technology. It's all about tech. I mean, if you follow my show, you can understand the lyrics. If you don't like rap, then I'm sorry, but it is a rap song. And it's very well done. He has like a 3-pane system where he's lip syncing the words, and he's got different things going on, and I think it's a very well done video. It looks very raw, very underground, and it has that kind of appeal to it. And it's shot entirely on the iPhone. So he took the video from a Cycorder and he edited this all together, put it up on YouTube. His name is Goshone, Gosh1. I'm sorry. I'm glad he put the Gosh in capital letters. He even said that in the song, but I forgot. Gosh1, and he's doing something special with that iPhone. That is a very nice video, so go check it out. It's over on the unofficial Apple weblog. Today is Dark Knight Day, so happy Dark Knight Day, everyone! Yay! Woo! Yeah, Dark Knight. Woo! We liked it. Dark Knight. I got it in my hand right now, holding it up. I bought the Blu-ray today. Went to first. I went to Target. They were sold out. Then I went to, I don't know why, but I went to Circuit City, which just happened to be one that was going out of business. The girl kind of laughed at me when I asked. I was like, "Do you guys have the Dark Knight Blu-ray in stock?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna turn around and leave." So I had to drive all the way to Best Buy, pick up Dark Knight, and now I got it in my hand. This story I'm gonna talk about is involving the Dark Knight, but over in the United Kingdom, in the UK, they sold 107,000 in one day. 107,000 in one day. This is not the DVD. This is the Blu-ray. Now the DVD, I think this article on HD Beat talks about the DVDs. I think they said, let's see, reporting that some 513 copies of The Dark Knight were sold on day one in the UK, 21% of which were Blu-ray. And the day isn't even over yet. I don't know why they're reporting this yet, but when this story came out, the day isn't even over yet. So, wow, 107,000 copies of The Dark Knight on Blu-ray sold in a record amount of time. I really believe so. And judging by what I've seen, I mean, the guy at Best Buy, he stopped me when I was picking it up. He's like, "Oh, you gotta see Dark Knight. Oh my God!" I'm like, I'm gonna see it. I have it in my hand, and I promise you that I'm going to buy it. I promise you. He didn't believe me. "Oh, you got to see it. It's the best thing. Oh, you're going to get it on Blu-ray." And they had a midnight launch last night at my local Best Buy. I didn't even know I would have got it. But they had a midnight launch last night. And he said that they had these giant displays of just Blu-ray. And they sold a whole display already. And they had to take that display down and just use one display now. Because all the copies are gone. They're all gone. So this movie is definitely going to break records. It's going to live up to the hype. Everyone is expecting The Dark Knight to really, really take off. And I absolutely agree. I think it's going to take off. It's a great movie. So I've been talking about Blu-ray a little bit. And Blu-ray is a high-definition video format. So moving on to high-def topics. This site, I believe the name of the site is techvideoblog.com. They did something that I kind of did today as well. They did an online video comparison of social or online video sharing sites. They did a high definition video test, and they did it more in depth than I did. I just did a Facebook, YouTube HD test on Buona.org, but these guys are comparing Facebook, Dailymotion, YouTube, Vimeo, SmugMug, all the different online high definition video sharing sites, and they did a comparison of them. Since everybody's talking about HD, I know a bunch of you probably got a Flip Minnow on your Flip Minnow HD camcorder on your shopping list. That's one of the cheaper ones. And then you got the Kodak, I believe it's the Kodak, I have it written down. Kodak ZI6, that's $179. Kodak ZI6 is $179. I did an entire video on Buona.tv about high definition content on YouTube, which I talk about some of the cameras. But this thing goes into depth. So if you want more details, check out this link that Engadget HD has linked, or HD Beat. I'll forever know them as HD Beat. But Engadget HD, they link to the site, which shows you some of the comparisons, some of the specs, and you can compare on your own. Are you guys a user of Google stuff? I don't want to say Google apps, just Google stuff. Well, today, can't even say it. Today, they announced a new feature for Gmail users, and this is something that a lot of people have been asking for a long time, and a lot of people have hacked. I use kind of a plugin for it. These are tasks. These are like to-do lists. They finally added official to-do lists and task management, or basic task management, in Gmail. So now, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in another story, Gmail is becoming like a one-stop shop for all things web. So that's going to be interesting. So now you have your task manager. This story was broke on, I don't know, probably TechCrunch, but I found it on Read Write Web. Marshall wrote an article about it, and it talks about some of the additional features of the task management. Now, I use Google Apps for your domain. You know how you can get a domain and point it to Gmail? That's what I'm using right now, and it's working pretty well for me. But by doing that, I'm kind of lagging on some of these features. So when I check my lab section, it may not be there. Like, I don't even have Gmail themes right now. So you guys, you go check your Gmail account, and there should be a new option in Gmail Labs. I'm sure you've all enabled Labs by now. These are experimental features, and you can do a task manager. So that's pretty cool, right? Task management is no easy task, but if you want to use it on the phone, the Blackberry Storm is you like that segue. You like that segue, did you? Yeah, you like that segue. Blackberry Storm is good for task management. Today, actually it wasn't today, it was yesterday, the Blackberry Storm received its first update. Let me rephrase that. It received its first over-the-air update. It's called OTA. As an iPhone user right now, this is something that I really miss. The Nokias that I had in the past, the Blackberries I had in the past, even the Sony Ericssons I had in the past, they had what was called an OTA update, meaning that you could download a new software firmware upgrade over the air. You download it, you don't have to hook it up, you don't have to plug it into your PC. It can be done independently, and I really miss this feature because you can't do that on the iPhone right now. But Blackberry Storm received it, and JK on the Run, one of my favorite mobile blogs, he reports that this fixed a big lag issue that was plaguing the Blackberry Storm. I believe the lag was with the interface. There were some lag issues in some areas. So this update addresses that, and from what I remember in his article, that was one of the big things that he was complaining about. He said if they fix this, then it's going to be a very good phone. So if you're a Blackberry Storm user, or you are looking to buy a Blackberry Storm and you were concerned about the lag issue, I'm sorry, that was my Wootalizer program. There's a Woot off going on right now, you guys, at Woot.com. Woot.com. I got this program, Wootalizer, which kind of lets me know when new stuff comes up. So let me just turn that down a little bit there. But if you guys are looking for a Blackberry Storm and that was the thing holding you up, hey, it's been fixed. So go check it out over on Engadget.com. JK on the Run has it on his website as well. Going back to some console news, Sony has announced that the much anticipated PlayStation Home feature of the PlayStation 3 is going to be out. The words are, the launch is imminent. They made a promise that it was going to be out by the end of this year. So the end of this year is let's see, there's 31 days in December. It's what, 22 days? 22 days, you got Sony until the end of the year. So, get on the ball. Now, I'm already in the beta of PlayStation Home, and I got to say, I can't talk about too much because there's an NDA, but it's great. It really is well done, and I was so impressed. And the first thing I said was like, why haven't they released this yet? So I guess they're thinking the same thing. Why haven't we released it yet? Let's just release it. It's going to have bugs. So he was reported as saying, as we've been saying, it will launch by the end of the calendar year 2008. This is PlayStation Home director Jack Booser. And he responded when asked about a December release. He said, and that's getting very close. So we can look forward to that this month. I got a feeling they're going to do it probably around the, I want to say the 17th. Let me look at my calendar. The 20th, let's see. They're going to do it like on a Tuesday. So probably the 23rd. So that when people buy them for Christmas, they'll get this stocking stuffer in their PlayStation called PlayStation Home. But I think they should really get it done before the holidays, and I'm going to be looking forward to that release.
You're listening to Bwana.org Radio, a potpourri of tech news and reviews.
Now, I talked about Gmail a little bit and how you can do a lot with it right now, and they added the new task feature. This extension for Firefox, the Firefox browser, it just does everything. It will bring everything Google into Gmail. In essence, it will transform Gmail into iGoogle. You'll be able to use Mail, You'll be able to use Google Reader. You'll be able to use Calendar. You'll be able to use Maps. You'll be able to use any custom page with gadgets. So in essence, it'll transform Gmail into iGoogle. Now, some people on this page, even on Lifehacker, say, well, why don't you just use iGoogle? I tried using iGoogle. It ain't the same. I don't know what it is. It's just not the same. Maybe I didn't customize it right. Maybe I didn't lay out my pages or the layout correctly. But it's just not the same. It just seems like a bunch of boxes. Whereas this kind of reminds me of, email plus boxes, because I do a lot of stuff in email. So I guess I want that email centralism, or that central email feel with everything else added, instead of iGoogle, which is everything, and you just put email in it. So maybe that explains it. But this particular Firefox extension, linked from Lifehacker, it will load any Google app inside of Gmail. And it's got a lot of cool little features. The comments on Lifehacker are pretty favorable, so you can go check it out. Now, I talked about this next story, I think about 2 episodes ago, about a possible rumor that Walmart's going to be carrying a $99 iPhone. Yeah, and I was skeptical then, and it turns out my skepticality was rightfully so, because they're not carrying a $99 iPhone. This has been confirmed over on the unofficial Apple weblog. The iPhone 4GB is not coming back. I told you, Apple doesn't resurrect old hardware. Once they retire it, it's gone. Don't even count on it coming back. So, but Walmart is going to be carrying iPhones. They're going to be carrying the current iPhones, which are the 8GB and the 16GB. I'm sorry, this article says they're just going to be carrying the 8GB phone. And guess what? It's not going to be $199. It's going to be $197. We're rolling back prices. Can you imagine that little stupid happy face? Yeah, we're rolling back prices. You save $2. You go to Walmart, you save $2. Save $2. I don't know. $197 versus $199. Yes. C. Brookins in the chat room just said $197.86. They got some crazy prices at Walmart. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that. They got some crazy prices. Hey, how much is this can of Coke? It's $3.86. Huh? $3.86. Where'd you get the 86 from? Oh, that rug there is $16.34. What? Where do you get these numbers from? Okay, that was my soapbox for this week. But Walmart's not going to be carrying the 4GB iPhone. Check out the link over at the unofficial Apple weblog. Now, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that I had an exciting weekend, and the reason is I was invited back to This Week in Tech with Leo Laporte, and we recorded Twit 172 on Sunday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, because it was 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I had a great time. The show was fun. I was going through Skype with Leo, and he broadcasted it live. I got the link in the show notes if you want to take a listen. We talked about everything about it was very security centric. I was impressed. We talked about a lot of virus stuff, the Facebook worm, and we joked about Obama's Zune, and I made a remark about that, which was kind of humorous at the time. And a bunch of other stuff. So this is Twit 172, and it's called ZoomGate because of the Obama thing. But I had a great time. I had a blast. The Twit effect is tremendous, guys. If you're ever blessed to be on Twit, you need to get better web hosting. You need to prepare your Twitter account to be blown up. You need to prepare even your Friendfeed account to be blown up, because everybody just... It's the Twit army effect. Those guys... And they got a great community, because I was in the chat room while we were in the show. And those guys are great. I mean, they I don't want to diss Chris Perillo's room, but Chris Perillo's room is a different demographic. These guys seem a little bit more mature over on Leo's room. They were a little bit more well-behaved, and I think there's a lot of more strict rules there as well. But I had a great time in the chat room. Those guys, they welcomed me, and they want me to come back. So I want to thank Leo for that, and I had a great time. He says he's going to invite me back, so maybe a month from now, maybe sooner, I'll be back on Twit, on twit.tv, This Week in Tech, doing the Twit, baby. The next story has to do with Friendfeed. I was talking about that. Friendfeed thing a little bit about Twit. This article's over on lewisgray.com, and Friendfeed has added language support. You know what? Maybe that's one of the things about living in the United States. You know, everything in the United States is English or Spanish. Everywhere I go, English or Spanish. I don't think about anything but English or Spanish. So when they announce, you know, more languages on Friendfeed to be supported, I didn't really consider that before. And then after I thought about it, I was like, hey, that's going to be great. I mean, they added German, they added Spanish, of course, French. Looks like, I don't know if that's Mandarin. I know it's Japanese. I don't know if that's I don't know which Chinese that is, but I'm going to say Mandarin. Russian, and they got upside down text. You guys, I don't know if you've ever seen this prank. I did it last April Fool's on Buona.org. I posted an entire blog post upside down. There's this website you can go to online where you put in any text and it'll convert it to upside down text, and it works surprisingly everywhere. You can put upside down text, so now you can pretty much flip Friendfeed upside down if you want. They got that fun little gag in there, if you will. But it was one of the cooler things I saw. But this article is over on lewisgray.com, and it's going to expand Friendfeed's world domination by adding more languages. So speaking of world domination, let me take a quick drink here. Speaking of world domination, let's turn our face to Facebook. That's kind of funny. No, it's not. Facebook launches high definition video. Yeah, I talked about a little bit of this earlier in the show where I did a comparison of this. But they finally launched HD video, and some people on Friendfeed thought it was, even Robert Scoble, he was one of the ones, they thought it was a big deal. And I retorted. I was like, I don't think this is a big deal. I think it's good. It's not bad. But I don't think it's a big deal. And I even stated that I don't think a majority of Facebook users even know that there's a video feature. The video community there is there. It's just the video feature of Facebook is just that. It's a feature. It's not really a community. So by them adding high definition is But they did also give you the ability to share the videos with anyone, not just Facebook users. You can share these videos. You can embed them on your website. So that, to me, is a bigger step than high definition, because that takes the video out of the Facebook walled garden, and it puts it on your website or wherever you want to embed it. So I even stated, I said, if they would have released the video from the walled garden a year ago, so a year like December 2007, and announce HD video support for that video, then it would have been a bigger deal. I think it would have been a huge deal, because that video community would have grown outside of the Facebook wall. It would have grown outside of that walled garden. That's the only word I can think of. And then you tack on HD, and then you add that benefit. But now they're just kind of throwing it out there, and I can't help but think that they only did this because YouTube did it, and Dailymotion's doing it, and SmugMug's doing it, and Vimeo's doing it. All these sites are doing it. So I don't know. I don't think it's that huge a deal, but we're going to definitely be watching it, and I am looking into it. I posted the HD video today on, oddly enough, the video was about YouTube HD. But I posted on Facebook, and I already got a couple comments, so versus the 40 or 50 comments I got on YouTube. So the community's got some ways to go.
You found Bawana.org Radio. Tech news and tech gadgets for the hardcore geek in all of us.
The next story is about Chris Pirillo and his thriving community. Chris is one of the lucky blogs, or one of the fortunate blogs, to be holding the HP Magic giveaway contest. And he is definitely taking advantage of this opportunity. Chris he's a mastermind. I have a lot of respect for the guy. He's crazy. We're both kind of nuts. That's why we get along. But he's a master of taking these opportunities and making the most of them. What he's done is that he's created a contest. He's created a contest of basically telling his users to write a blog post on a top 10 list on how to do something. It has to be so many words. It has to be grammatically correct. So in essence, he's teaching them how to blog. And he's benefiting from it. All these posts are going to his blog. So he's getting tons and tons and tons of content. I mean, it's literally 50, 60 posts a day there now. I don't know when the contest ends, but he has been posting a ton of articles. And the one that I linked to is the one that I commented on. This is the one that I really think should win, just because of the nature of the article. So far it has 36 comments, and the contest says whoever has the most comments wins. So comment on this one, guys. It has tips for taking pictures of small plastic things. I was like, okay, small plastic things. And then I scrolled down, I started reading it, and then I started seeing some of the sample photography, and I was blown away. I was completely blown away. How in the world did I not know about this? It is incredible. It teaches you how to use macro focusing, and you know, the macro features of your Canon cameras and all your Nikon cameras, to get these small figurines or plastic things and to take great photographs of these objects. And I was just like, man, that is a how-to. That right there is a how-to. That I don't really care about top 10 lists, but that to me should get a lot of hits. I think that is great content. That's why people surf the internet. So I applaud Chris. Hi, Chris. How you doing, Chris? I applaud Chris for taking the initiative to create this contest so that this content can be brought to the forefront. I would have never thought to look for this kind of stuff otherwise. So it's great that this came out of that contest. And the HP Magic contest is incredible, guys. They're giving away $6,000 worth of computers. I mean, there's literally four or five computers. There's two laptops. There's a mini book. There's a laptop. There's an HP Touch Smart. There's printers. There's DVDs. It's just ridiculous how much stuff they're giving away to one person. So go check it out. I'm not sure when the contest ends, but I think it's coming up soon. So you might want to get started on writing that how-to article to enter Chris's contest. The next story has to do with Google Android, and we kind of knew this was going to happen. As soon as Google announced Android, which is their mobile phone operating system, as soon as they announced that it was going to be open source, people said, okay, when are you going to port it to this? When are you going to port it to that? Porting means that you're going to make it be able to run on something that wasn't originally intended to be run on. So this article over in Engadget talks about how Android 1.0 has now been ported to the Nokia N810, which is a great internet communicator device. I believe that's one of the communicator devices from Nokia. And they ported Google Android to it. So now you can run, if you have your hacking gloves, you can hack your N810 from Nokia, and you can put the Google Android OS on it and run all the cool Android apps. So it's pretty cool that this was done. So go take a look in the show notes. The next story is kind of gloomy, and it was kind of sad to read it because it affected me. Not affected me in a terrible way. You know, it kind of tickled my entertainment funny bone, which hurts sometimes. It's a reality check, you know, what's important and what's not. And this has to do with sports, because I watch a lot of sports on TV. I don't watch a lot of TV. But if I do got to watch TV, it's either something that I've recorded or it's sports. Sports Center, ESPN is my favorite. That's what this article is talking about. ESPN recommends dropping HD TV to weather tough economy. Yeah, ESPN, the self-proclaimed worldwide leader in sports and true pioneer of getting some and even the most obscure events known to man to HD, has let DJ Gallo go right off the deep end. An article titled Financial Trip Tips for Sports Fans in Troubled Economy. He first recommends to sell your old playing cards, all right, you know, since hordes of people are playing cards. And then he says, drop your HD TV package. You know, I didn't immediately. I was like, no, I'm not dropping my HD. I'm not dropping. What are you talking about? I'm not dropping my HD. And then I thought about it. I'm like, well, that's probably not a bad idea, considering I can get a lot of content on Hulu.com. I can get live sports on the internet. I could theoretically watch everything I already watch, but just not in high definition. And you save a lot of money. DirecTV is expensive, guys. I use DirecTV. I have their high definition stuff. It's expensive, and you can save a lot of money. But this really was a reality check. I'm like, it'll hurt, but it might not be a bad idea. So this definitely was a thinker. This one got me thinking. So check out this article and let us know what you think. The next article has to do with Facebook Connect. Facebook Connect is the new initiative. I think I talked about this last episode, where they're trying to intertwine different websites using this initiative so you can authenticate using your Facebook credentials, your Facebook username and password, to log on to blogs and to synchronize your information. So if you post a comment and you want to also be shown on Facebook.com, that was stupid of ass, updating the virus, sorry. If you want that comment to be cross-posted to Facebook.com, if I'm set up for Facebook Connect, that's done. And you can also join sites as part of the community. You can track comments, you can add friends. So it's extending the Facebook Connect community. This next article is something that I've implemented on Buona.org, and it's called Sociable. And it's a WordPress plugin so that you can have Facebook Connect on your website. First off, I don't recommend people use this yet. I just want to make you aware because it is definitely not ready for prime time. There's some issues that are fairly serious. It's not easy to install. It takes a little bit of technical know-how. You got to have some experience with, tinkering with files and folders on your web server. And there's a really nasty bug with the WordPress caching module. It sends my site into an infinite loop when you log in, and it's definitely tied to the caching. So, but it brings Facebook Connect to WordPress. When it works, it's beautiful. I got it kind of working now, and it's working. I mean, I don't have caching turned on. I had to turn it off, but it's definitely working. You can log into Buona.org using your Facebook credentials, and when you post a comment to Buona.org, you can also post that to Facebook. So that information is synced. So this is like the beginnings of the Facebook Connect empire, if you will, which is kind of the antagonist of Google Friend Connect. Speaking of Google, you guys like stickers? I got a sticker on my iPhone. Where's my iPhone? It's not in here, but I got a Buona.tv sticker on my iPhone. And I got stickers all over my laptops. And lately I've been really loving stickers. Google is now allowing you to get your own Gmail stickers. There's some very cool stickers of the Gmail icon, as well as a sticker outlining the Gmail keyboard shortcuts. Isn't that cool? That's awesome. That's awesome to the max. That's awesome. So you can get these for free. All you got to do is send a self-stepped address envelope to Google. They got the address on the article here. It's like P.O. Box 3911420, Mountain View, California 94039. Some assembly required. Batteries not included. But you get some great stickers, and you can put them on your books. You can put them on your notebooks. You can put them on your desk. You can put them on your wall. Hey, put them on your best friend while he's not looking. Do whatever you want with these stickers, but they're very cool. And that's definitely something that I think you should take advantage of. Now, I talked about Facebook Connect, and I got a couple articles here, and I'm briefly touch on Vimeo, which is the high-definition video service. They have launched Facebook Connect support, so you can use them, as well as Drop.io. I love Drop.io. It is a file-sharing service on steroids. Literally, on steroids. Think of a file-sharing service that you can call, that you can fax. That's Drop.io. This thing does everything, but they've got Facebook Connect now, which is very, very awesome. And for our final story, the stories that I have, this is a nifty little tool if you are a user of Twitter and you're looking to move to Friendfeed. It's called Twitter to Friendfeed Contact Sync. And this version is what I've been waiting for. It is a web-enabled version. Now, there's one already out there that's a Windows executable, which I just hate. I don't want Windows executables. But this one is a web service on Google Google Apps, AppSpot. What is it? Google Apps, whatever. Google's shared app service. But you basically put in your Twitter credentials, you put in your Friendfeed credentials, and it'll synchronize one with the other. So you can, if you're somebody you're following on Twitter that you're not following on Friendfeed, you can synchronize those two things. So I think it's a great thing. I went through it today and I added about probably 300 people that I was following in on Friendfeed, but not on Twitter, and I think that really helped. And Strat posted a story today, and I need to add it to. Just 1 second, I have it here. I need to add it to the show link so the people watching the live chat can follow along as well. This is this is very strange. This guy who seems to work for what's the DHS? He seems to work for DHS, and he has created. I'm still adding it so you guys can see it, so you won't be completely lost. He's created a self-portrait of himself using GPS. It's called The Biggest Drawing in the World. What he did is that he got this GPS unit and turned it on. Then he started going all over the freaking world in this pattern, so that when you trace it on the map, it's a picture of his face. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I mean, when I got to like halfway, I'm like, this guy's nuts. And by the time I got to the end of the video and I saw the drawing, I was like, whoa! It was good quality. I don't know if this guy he worked for DHS, because he was all in backgrounds and by airplanes and everything, and in the cockpit. But man, that's gotta take a lot of work. He's driving in cars. He was in New York. He was in Russia. He was all over the freaking world. All over the freaking world, creating the biggest drawing in the world. So check out this story. This was submitted by Strat. I said DHS. I'm sorry. That's the Department of Homeland Security. I'm sorry. I meant DHL. I'm so sorry. But Strat6888 sent this story. That's the meds, I guess. They're kicking in. Strat688 sent this story to me, and you can check it out in the show notes. And that concludes episode 138 of Bwana.org Radio, and you guys stay tuned after the bump.
You're listening to Bwana.org Radio. If you'd like more information about topics or issues discussed on today's show, please go to radio.bwana.org for complete show notes and links. To contact us here at Bwana.org Radio, email is bwana@bwana.org, or you can call the voicemail hotline. The number is 305-831-4979. Now back to Bwana.org Radio.
All right, folks, that concludes episode 138 of Bwana.org Radio. I still feel like hot garbage, but it's a little bit lukewarm now. It's not as hot and steamy and stinky as before, but I do feel it, and I'm gonna get some rest tonight. I'll feel better in the morning. But thanks to you guys for sticking through it, and you guys in the live stream, people in the chat room. There's a couple of you streamers, DG Murdoch, Strat, Ben Hedrington. Is that how you say it? Hedrington? C. Brookins is in here. So a bunch of people. JR Blaze, yeah, there he is. There's the regular people. Uni's in here. And these guys are in here interacting, asking questions. So if you ever want to be a part of that, tune in. Live.bwana.tv. I do the shows Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. I don't think I've ever said that on here. But tentatively, I do the shows Tuesdays and Thursday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to come by and see it taped live, if you don't want to listen to the podcast afterwards, and you can also submit stories. So if you come like 5 or 10 minutes before, send me a link and I'll talk about it on the show, or you can just email it to me anytime you feel like it. All right, folks, that concludes. Oh, also this video, last time in episode 137, I was able to get the video up to YouTube, so that's up there now. And this video, hopefully, it looks like it's still recording. Hopefully it will be recorded, and the video portion will go up to YouTube as well. So if you want to watch me, what in the world was that? If you want to watch me move my head back and forth, that's pretty much all I'm doing on the video anyway. But you get to see pictures of the Dark Knight. Anyway, I'm rambling. That concludes episode 138 of Bwana.org Radio, and I will see you next time. Man, I was rambling.